So in this video, you'll learn how to turn off direct monitoring in a Scarlett 4i4 interface made by Focusrite. Why is this important? Well, direct monitoring is great. Normally, if you want to play as a musician and you want to hear exactly what you're playing straight away without any latency. However, there are some times when you don't want to do that. So in my case, I and my friends are using some software called Jamulus, which is to allow musicians to play online at the same time. And the whole point of this, to keep some sort of synchronization for our playing, is that we just hear the sound from the software, the virtual room in the cloud. We do not want to hear the sound that's coming direct into the Focusrite. But first of all, let's look at the signal flow I'm using so you can understand where I'm coming from. If you look at the top left, you've got my keyboard with a stereo signal and a microphone in mono. That goes into a mixer, and the stereo mix goes into Focusrite Scarlett directly. There are other ways to do this, but I've found this is the best way to maintain a good signal and minimal latency. So we've got a stereo mix coming in. That goes to the computer via USB. And if you can look on the right hand side now, you'll see Jamulus and the setup I'm using there. The device I'm using is the Scarlett interface in and out. And the channels that are coming in are input 1 and 2. That's important for it to work. This is the important bit. If you look in the middle, you can see some large words that say no inputs. So this is the important thing you need to set up. What you're looking at is Focusrite's own software called Focusrite Control, which allows you to do quite sophisticated setups within Focusrite, but you can't do it from the panel itself. You use the software called Control. You can see that I have set it up so that I have a headphone mix, which is what I'm interested in. And you'll see there's hardware inputs at the top right. Now it's important that there are not any hardware inputs. So the signal will still go through the Scarlett into Jamulus, but I don't want any of those inputs there. And that's how you do it. You turn that off. And you rely on the mix that's coming back from the software. So if you look at the bottom, you'll see it says software playback, and that's what you will hear. So if I show you, let's see if I can show you, yes, there's Focusrite Control. So the signal's coming in. I've also got my keyboard there, and no hardware inputs, but it's just coming back through the software playback. I could actually, this is what it looks like when you first go into it. You will see a hardware input. So if I just go to Focusrite Control now, and I add the stereo input, you'll hear that it is sort of doubled up. So the way I got rid of it was basically just deleting it like that, and that seems the best way to do it. Okay, so if we go to Jamulus now, you will see that, I mean, there's various settings here that are specific to Jamulus, but the main thing to remember is that the channels are coming in as input 1 and 2. And yes, I think that's the main thing I wanted to explain. It can be very complex, and Focusrite Control is, let's say it's easy to get into difficulty with it if you don't know what you're doing. There is a manual. It is very, very powerful, but I would think it's probably best to keep with a basic setup first, and it is possible, if you do get into difficulty, to blank the whole thing and start again and just add your inputs and then tell it where to send those inputs. So in fact, for the setup I've got, if I go back to the Focusrite, actually at the top of the screen on one of the menus, not sure if it'll show here, not sure if you'll see this, but it says load or save snapshot, and it's possible to save a snapshot of what you've done and call it Focusrite, for example, or Jamulus. So I hope that's been useful. It's a bit of a murky subject, monitoring, but if you get it right, it really, really, really helps. So yes, please put any questions in the comments and hope to see you soon.